Hey everybody, thank you so much for being here. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about creating one unified BU news platform. And before we start off, I want to thank my incredible advisor, Dr. Sophie Godley. Thank you for your invaluable wisdom and guidance through this process and for sticking with me through no matter what you have been here, and I'm so abundantly grateful for you. Okay, guys, so here's the headline. What we really need to be doing is creating one central unified app for BU News. But why? And how did I personally get here? So I'm going to tell you guys a little story. It all starts on November 6th, 7:30 p.m. last semester. What is this day? It's the moment when we're discovering who the next president of the United States was. This image was taken before this ultimate conclusion, but just going to bring us all back to this moment. Apologies. Okay. So just for some context, I was co-executive producing live election coverage for Boston University's television network, BUTV, alongside Sophia Falbo and Sydney Topf. And pre-production started way back end of May of 2024. We were building this rundown throughout the summer, and we had our team. We hit the ground running right when we get back. We're writing these rundowns. We have correspondence, pre-recorded interviews, and now it's the day of. We're going to go live, and it's going to be 60 minutes, and we're in the studio, and we think we have everybody and their moms watching. Okay. We're running around, we are chugging coffee, we're running through the calm hallways screaming, "Look what the Times just broke!" We're writing headlines and immediately revising them because breaking news is coming in. And then, I check my phone. And my classmates, they're not tuning in. I'm like, you guys, if you're not here, where else could you possibly be? We are busting our booties trying to deliver the most accurate news content that we possibly can. And this is a terrifying, for some of us, it's a very scary moment for our democracy and for our country. And we are, we're holding our breaths. I'm like, where could you guys possibly be right now? Oh, but I know. Their TikTok feeds were blowing up with hot takes and viral memes and live reactions. And political commentators with no formal training are racking up millions of views breaking down key races. We literally, you guys, have an interview with the United States Director of Cybersecurity, and a man with red LED lights in his bedroom background is talking about what freedom means to him. But here's the thing. This information on TikTok, it was fast, it was informative, and it was interactive. And it was really in this moment that I stopped and realized, okay, this generation, our generation, Gen Z, consumes news in a fundamentally different way. But I believe that there's this large misconception that Gen Z is naive or apathetic or they don't care about the truth. But is that really true? Of course not. I mean, look at today, for instance, the brilliance of everybody that presented, the community that we have here, which leads us to this point. Here we are with BUTV. We need to create a platform that pulls from not just BUTV, but also Daily Free Press, BU News Service, and WTBU into one unified platform. Because here's the thing, you guys. Right now, these platforms are falling short. They're inaccessible, and they're outdated, and they're scattered. And not only for the people that are working on BUTV and Bonds and Freep and WTBU, who are putting hours and hours and hours into these productions just for the links, only to make it into the hands of their friends and family members and incredible professors and mentors. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's also for the rest of the student body. We need to create an environment where we can have a finger on the pulse of what's going on, especially through such an otherwise dark and confusing and scary time. We need student journalism, and we need to elevate these platforms. So at the time, I was in a equestrian course and huddled with my group, and we got to do this one final project, and we started pursuing a platform. What would this look like? So we start talking to our people. We start out by talking to people in our community within COM who are, for the most part, everybody was familiar with Daily Free Press, BU News Service, BU TV, and WTBU. However, as we started to exit comm, some people were like, okay, I recognize that name. Oh, don't know about the others, or I've never heard of any of these altogether. And then we went deeper. We started talking to the people involved in each of these organizations, and you guys, it was the same themes that we're hearing from everyone. Our viewership is severely impacted because of how inaccessible and outdated these sites are. We're not reaching the audiences that we want to reach. Daily Free Press, hearing Ava Berger, like of one of our own at Kilachand, and she's leading the captain and captaining the ship at Daily Free Press. How many hours? I mean, they have 18 section editors that are all individually responsible for going on, and Daily Free Press is updating and releasing 40 to 50 articles a week, when you think about that. And so among everyone, BU TV, WTBU, BU News Service, and the Daily Free Press, we need to reach a wider audiences. And these sites are so difficult to use when we have so many people, students, trying to update them. So what's the big problem here? And this is what we started ideating back in the fall in this Questrom course. BU students, they don't have one condensed platform for these campus publications. The platforms are completely disjointed, and that's confusing and disorienting for students, especially on a day like November 6th, where everyone's waking up. Where are they gonna go? How are my classmates feeling right now? What's going on in the larger world? But we missed that mark, and where did everyone go? TikTok. And in this moment, what we really, and has been so overwhelmingly concerning to me, is a society where verified information can't compete with credible information creates a society that's vulnerable to manipulation and division. And by not having one central, unified place for BU news organizations, we're creating an environment where our students are completely scattered and isolated. We want to be able to make sense of what's going on together, and we need to be making the steps to do so. So here were the central questions that we landed on. How can we make student journalism more accessible and engaging for the BU community? What can be done to bridge the gap between the work student media organizations produce and the audience that it's meant to serve? How can we counter the reliance on social media platforms that prioritize sensationalism over substance and accuracy? So, introducing Rhett's reports. So this would be one condensed news app. This would run very similar to Apple News. If you guys are familiar with Apple News, when you log on, you would be able to select and browse between BU TV, BU News Service, the Daily Free Press, WTBU. And this would also be on your phone. You can check it daily with different features. So this would be a mock-up, and I'll let everybody take a look. This is where it would be going. And now into the features. We would have personalized feed, multimedia integration. We'd have videos from BU TV, articles from Daily Free Press and BU News Service, radioids from WTBU. You'd have push notifications throughout the day. Terriers tune in to see how your classmates are making sense of this information. Interactive elements for students to respond and engage and ask questions and collaborate with one another. So this was in this Questrom group. We pitched it in SI 250 to a team at Innovate, and unfortunately, this was the tail end of last semester, and knowing that I was graduating. However, there's so many different sophomores and freshmen that are on this team and are wanting to move forward with this project and are so excited to do so in the future. So this is really just the beginning. I also had the opportunity to talk about Gen Z news consumption habits on the TEDxBU stage recently, which really complemented a lot of the research done for Rhett reports. And then here are the next steps. So working with Innovate and BU Spark to build this app, this is really going to be taking place in the fall and spring of this upcoming school year. If you guys know anyone in any of the grades below that would be interested in joining this team as well, let me know. The biggest obstacle that we encountered was really upkeep. So it requires so many different people on board from BU TV, from WTBU, from BU News Service, and from the free to continuously update their site. So it is like a digital bulletin. That's been the biggest hurdle, but in terms of working with Innovate and BU Spark, the actual creation of this app is doable. It's just going to be the upkeep process in the long term. But to close off, student journalism has never been more important than it is right now. So let's rally together and create a place for all of us to make sense of what's going on in this world together. Thank you.
Questions?
This is great, Addison. How much does this platform just take us to the kind of articles and shows that are already being made, and how much does it kind of push us to report in new forms?
Ooh, that's a really, really great question. So I'm speaking on behalf of BUTV. I've been co-executive general managing, and what we're constantly trying to do with BUTV in specific is push boundaries and create content that meets our audiences where they already are. And a lot of that has been through short form publications. So with an app and a platform such as this, we would be still combining and collaborating across different organizations to highlight and elevate the pieces that are already being released, but also to try to continuously push towards creating more innovative content. That would be the hope.
Anyone else?
Awesome. Thank you so much.